Hello, you glorious people. My name is Jeremiah, and this is another episode of Football Update. And I have got something to tell you, and that is starting next week, we'll start having an actual intro for the channel. So I'll be like, welcome everybody, welcome to another episode of Football Update. And then there'll be a nice little trailer, because why not? Also, we're just going to speed through these teams because I'm going to be honest, there was a lot of work put into those two divisions, because it's 8 teams total. We're going to go through these 24 teams as fast as possible, folks, and don't worry, we will get to actual draft things after we actually see what they do, and we'll get to all the off-season crap that happened, and by that I mean like actual crap and bullshit crap, and it'll be pretty fun. But first of all, let's go through all of the teams that have things like free agents. Now, of course, let's start with the Ravens. Ravens added Sammy Watkins, wide receiver, added Justin Eels, defensive tackle. They've added so many defensive tackles. They've added like one. They added a few defensive ends. They've added tight end Josh Oliver. They added LJ Fort as a linebacker. So they're really just trying to, like, I guess, get even better. I mean, the Ravens kind of just don't have the right quarterback, maybe. Maybe they just are in a tough division like the Seahawks, so they can't win the division every year. It could be just that. Cincinnati. Well, Cincinnati is, yeah, sure. They have a decent, like, backup quarterback. They have their offensive lines improving a bit. They're trying to stabilize that defensive line. They're losing Carlos Dunlap and a few other good pieces on that defensive line, and they're hoping to cross their fingers, hope to die that Justin Herbert will not die in their team this season like he did last season. Cleveland Browns look good again. I think that they should definitely not sign OBJ again, ever again, ever again, ever again. And you know what they should do? They should actually try to go out there and get themselves Jadeveon Clowney, which is exactly what they did. They went ahead and got some other pieces. Malcolm Smith, a really, really good linebacker. Anthony Walker is a pretty dang good linebacker. And they're just trying to reinforce that defense. They even paid John Johnson a ton of money to try and come in there and stabilize that core. They added Cody Parkey as a kicker. That's interesting. Okay, so we got the Pittsburgh Steelers. We've got so many free agents on here. I mean, look at this, guys. Seriously, what the fuck? What are they trying to do? They have like this whole list of free agents. And you know what? I will say that BJ Finney is, like, I guess, a solace for their backup team. And they got Josh Dobbs, QB, for backup. I guess they went ahead and finally decided to move off of a guy that tried to pick a fight with a Browns player last year. Texans, because we're now in the South. Because you know what? Steelers, Ravens, Bengals, we did it. We did that division. It's time for the AFC South, starting with the Houston Texans. You've got Ryan Finley coming back at quarterback. Oh, yeah, the Ryan Finn. You've got Tyrod Taylor coming in as backup QB, which means their QB group won't be awful, even if for some reason Deshaun Watson can't come back, although that team ain't winning more than like 5 games. They are just awful, 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 awful. Mark Ingram, running back. I don't know why Mark Ingram decided to go there. I don't care how much money they're paying you, man. I don't care. It's not good. They got Philip Lindsay, of course. I mentioned that earlier about Denver. I think that's a bad idea for Philip Lindsay. I do not know why anyone would want to go to this Texans organization. It seems like a pit hole of despair. It seems like the new Cleveland show. They signed Justin Britt. Congrats, I suppose. Congrats. Then we got the Colts, because honestly, I don't even want to go over the Texans. They have way more free agent signings, but like I don't see them finishing more in the 4th interdivision. I think the Colts have the best chance to win as long as Carson Wentz can be anything like 2018 or 2017, better yet. And they really have some good tools on their team. They even signed Xavier Rhodes on the defense, which he wasn't that good last year, but before that he was a top corner in the league. And there's some other really solid pieces of that team. Jacksonville, they did everything. They signed C.J. Beathard, because like why not? Or C.J. Beathard, as some people like to call him, Carlos Hyde, and yeah, that's a pretty good one. Philip Dorsett as wide receiver. Well, I hope you get like more playing time than the Seahawks did out of him. Um, they acquired a lot of pieces on the defense because their defense kind of wasn't that good. Um, but I don't know if they're gonna pay off. We'll see how that goes. We got the Tennessee Titans with some replacements on wide receiver. Mainly one wide receiver that was pretty good for them last season. They replaced him with Josh Reynolds. Interesting acquisition. Um, we've got some tight ends that they acquired, some offensive line pieces, some defensive pieces. Of course, I think that they should have way more defensive ends on this list, but that might just be my opinion. Because honestly, I'm going to be honest with you here. The Titans are good on offense. They don't need more offensive pieces. All they needed was like 7 defensive ends. Just get like 7 of them, cancel 3 out before the season starts, and make sure that like only 2 of them are on pretty good guaranteed contracts. So we already talked about the West, because I organize my stuff differently than everyone else. Ha ha ha. So now it's time to go to the NFC. And of course, we are going to go through the Dallas Cowboys. Okay, Dak Prescott's back. They might win the division. Good for them. I don't want to go over all their players because honestly, this division kind of sucks. I mean, Dallas is good on offense. They have a bad defense. The New York Giants have an amazing defense. They go wire to wire with a lot of great teams. They beat the Seahawks last season, but their offense just isn't that good. Like, I mean, their quarterback is Daniel Jones is okay, but he makes so many bad decisions in big games. It's so weird to watch him play sometimes, um, including when he lost against the Eagles the first time, and when he lost against the Buccaneers because he kept throwing bad picks, and he just he had so many bad plays to lose that game against the Bucks. I don't know. There's just a lot of things about him that I don't really like. So I would say like the Giants are a 50-50 ballpark for the division. The Philadelphia Eagles signed Joe Flacco. Okay, well the Eagles aren't winning this division because when you fire your head coach and your first move is to sign Joe Flacco, and the toxic guy that was running your GM group is still in charge, you ain't winning no division. It's time to go to the Washington football team. Okay, this team could really actually win a division. It could. It really could. Because they find Ryan Fitzpatrick. Ryan Fitzpatrick isn't bad. He's not good. But hey, if you're okay and you're on a team with a great defense, like Washington football team has assembled over the years, especially adding some good cornerback help in William Jackson the third, who's pretty dang good, and Danny and some smaller, lesser contracts like Danny Johnson and Darryl Roberts, you can at least go in and say, well, this team should be pretty good. Maybe it can win the division. The division can be crap this year. It can be pretty good. I really don't know. Because honestly, it all depends on the NFC North if they get to be the last division or the middle division. Well, the NFC North and the NFC South. The NFC North has got the Bears. Andy Dalton is now the quarterback. Of course, they've signed some new good pieces on offense. They got Marquise Goodwin. Woohoo! They got Allen Robertson. Woohoo! They still signed Jermaine Fetty to another one-year contract. Why? Because I don't know. As a Seahawks fan, I literally can't tell you why they're like, you know what we need to do this year? Sign Jermaine Fetty to our offensive line again. I mean, our offensive line was so good last season, especially against the Packers. We tried to throw bombs in the first and second game against our division rival and lost so big because of those decisions. I don't know what to talk to you about other than the fact that that's kind of a dumb move, in my opinion. You got some more linebacker help. You got, decent defense still, and everything on the defense is still pretty dang good. So we'll probably see the Bears be an 8-8 team again. I mean, I know that I know that Marquise Goodwin's really good. I know that that team can be really good. But here's the thing. I don't believe in their coach. I don't believe in that guy. I think he's okay. I don't think he's great. I think they need some help and he needs some restraints. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. Lions, they have Jared Goff and a whole bunch of free agent signings, and I don't even want to go into them. You know why? Because the Lions have a new head coach. Don't know who he is. He's never been in the league before as a head coach. Why would I try to predict anything that they're going to do? They could be great. They could suck. They could be below suck. They could be like 0-16. Who knows? It's a new coach. I'm not going to try to predict that. Here's another thing. Green Bay Packers, they signed Aaron Rodgers to another big ass contract. They have Mercedes Lewis as a tight end, and yeah, honestly, they got a pretty good cornerback and Kevin King now, and I guess that's fine. I mean, the Packers are still the Packers. Their defense will probably suck again and be spotty at best, have some really good games and some really poor games, and their offense will probably look between amazing and anemic, and we'll see how that goes, and then they'll probably win 13 games again because they're good at winning games. They're not good at winning Super Bowls. They're not the team that can go to the Super Bowl. Of course, I don't know why, because last year all their teams in the division kind of just fell off a cliff, including the Minnesota Vikings. Now, of course, you may be going, but they signed Amir Abdullah. No one's going like that. No one knows who Amir Abdullah is. But yeah, I mean, they replaced Boone with Abdullah, so that's interesting. I mean, at least it's less head scratching than Denver thinking that Boone is a replacement for their old running back guy who went somewhere else. I keep forgetting his name. Went to the Texans. And yeah, I don't really see much here. I mean, yeah, they got a good team again. They probably have a really good roster, but the quarterback and the offensive system, they lost their offensive guy from 2 years ago who was helping them making them playoff contender. So many things, so many problems. Vikings can do whatever. The Atlanta Falcons, now we're in the NFC South. We went through the AFC East, the NFC East, the NFC North, and now we're at the NFC South. We've got Mike Davis, who, by the way, Seahawks running back, when he got good, he was in Seattle. He was drafted by Seattle. Now he's getting paid a 2-year, $5.5 million deal. I mean, come on. Mike Davis is a good, serviceable player, and no one talks about him at all. Kind of not cool. But also, Mike Davis is pretty good. He was on the Seahawks, and he was on the Panthers, and he did pretty well there, and then now he's on the Falcons. And the Falcons got him. Good job for them. That's one good piece to their rest of a bunch of meh. I mean, I can say that Jonathan Bullard is at least pretty good as a defensive tackle. I can say that Eric Harris is okay. And then the rest of them, I mean, I'm looking at this list and I'm thinking the Falcons are the Falcons. They're just going to choke whatever they do. So why would I even talk about their new head coach? I don't care about their head coach. I don't care about their team. I don't care about them. Because if they go to the Super Bowl again, they're just going to choke against whoever they play. If they go to the playoffs again, they're going to choke whoever against they play. They're going to choke sometime or they're going to suck. And that's what the Falcons are good at. So I'm not even going to try and talk about them right now. The Carolina Panthers. Sam Darnold is now their quarterback. That's pretty interesting. I mean, that's pretty probably decent. I mean, they got David Moore. That's a really good piece for them. I would say Dan Arnold's a really good defensive tackle. Tight end. Sorry, read it wrong. Because Dan Arnold, I've seen him play in a few other teams, and he's pretty dang good tight end. I just mistakenly said, because I thought Aaron Donald for a moment. That was kind of weird. But yeah, they got a lot of great pieces. They could be a playoff contender again this season because, again, New Orleans has nothing. They lost their quarterback. Yes, maybe Jameis Winston can get them 10 wins. Maybe the Saints can be a competitor against us in the season and draw us to the wire. But I don't think that they are a Super Bowl contender this season. It'll take Jameis 2 seasons to get used to his new eyes. Now, of course, they got some other good pieces. They have Nick Vannett for some reason. I mean, I gotta be honest, Nick Vannett's okay, but he's not great. Tambay Buccaneers, the repeating Super Bowl champions. They signed Ryan Griffin, and they signed a bunch of other guys. They re-signed a bunch of their guys. They're still the Super Bowl defending champions on to go to their free agents because I still think they're the biggest threat other than the NFC West to win the Super Bowl. And that's where we come down to in the NFC is the NFC West. Now, of course, why do I say that the Bucs are the biggest competitor? Because Green Bay always loses in the playoffs. Green Bay always has something missing to their team. They just do. They just always do. And this New Orleans ain't coming back, and New Orleans always screws up in the playoffs too. So I would say the Bucs are the team. Then it's Arizona with Colt McCoy as their backup, and James Conner as their running back, and AJ Green now the wide receiver. They're still doing the old guy thing, and they got some good pieces. Yeah, they have some good pieces. They have good J.J. Watt. They already have their really good team from last season. Let's just see if Kyler Murray can stay healthy, because if Kyler Murray stayed healthy last season, they probably would have won the division, or at least been in the running with Seattle until the very end. Then we have the Rams. The Rams. They signed Matthew Stafford. I mean, I don't know, guys. I have no idea what that's going to be like. I would say that everybody in the NFC West has a chance to win the division, has a chance to win the number one seed. So there's not really much to say about the Rams after that. I don't like their coach, but he's a great coach, so make of that what I will. San Francisco is good. That's all I can say. They signed Nate Sonfield as their backup QB. Good job. And they have decent running back talent, like usual. And they still have everything about the same. I mean, yeah, Kyle Juszczyk signed another deal, which is going to burn their cap money a bit, but he signed a brand new deal, and the rest of the team is just pretty good. It's San Francisco. It's always going to be either good or great or eh. And Seattle signed Geno Smith. Oops. Back at QB. Sorry, I dropped my pen. You got Ethan Posick as our center again, and you got some good defensive pieces. You got the defending title from last year's season as the NFC West champions. I would say Seattle has a pretty good chance to win Super Bowl as well, but of course I said all the NFC West teams do, so there's not really much to say about that. They've got some decent pieces in general. So yeah, that's my evaluation of the entire NFL going into the draft, is that, for the AFC, I would say everyone except for Cincinnati in the AFC North has a chance to win the Super Bowl. I would say the Chiefs, of course, the Bills, put Miami, the Titans, and what was the other team? Titans and Colts, the outside chance to go and win the Super Bowl. Then in the NFC for right now, I put the entire NFC West, the Bucs, and Green Bay, and those would be my picks for the Super Bowl this year. Like, there's no one else that I see right now who can do it. But you know what? Free agency's coming up. We're going to see Sam Darnold play in some preseason games in that Panthers system. Maybe they can be a contender. We'll see how all that goes. There's a lot of unpredictability. Now, this video is pretty long, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this evaluation of all the teams, all the acquisitions. If you want to watch the AFC South video or the AFC West video, go ahead and click one of the things above me. And as always, if you want to subscribe, please do. And there's going to be more from today's stories, more from this series and football update. And as always, comment down below and let me know what you guys like for future videos. See ya.